Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
New emails obtained by Valley News Live show that the city of Grand Forks received complaints from employees weeks before a coronavirus outbreak at the LM Wind plant. More than 100 employees ended up testing positive, and the plant remains closed. Valley News Team's Joshua Peguero follows the paper trail on what and when city officials first knew of the spread.
As businesses in North Dakota slowly reopen, the LM Wind Power plant in Grand Forks remains closed. 900 employees work there and 124 tested positive for COVID-19. Emails that we obtained through an open records request show that Grand Forks city officials first received a complaint on March 22nd by an employee alleging that upper management was not taking the coronavirus pandemic seriously. As opposed to the health department investigating, the city allowed the president of the Grand Forks Regional Economic Development Corporation, Keith Lunn, to look into it. We asked him whether it should have been a health expert instead.
You know, I can't answer that, Joshua. As I mentioned earlier in this interview, this is uncharted territory for all of us. People are learning as they go.
Lunn and the city stand by their decision, saying Lunn has had a 20-year relationship with the company.
We offered to contact LM Wind Power as a courtesy to let them know that a complaint had been filed.
In that email dated March 23rd, Lunn also says he spoke with the plant manager a week before the complaint, but he tells us the topic of employees having COVID-19 did not come up.
Not at all. It was really just how are you faring? How's business? Interested in the company, interested in their industry, interested in their supply chain.
In that same email, Lunn also told the city he wasn't sure whether the plant was following CDC guidelines.
I guess my reason for characterizing my comments that way is I'm not a public health official, and I wouldn't have any way to ascertain whether or not CDC guidelines or other recommendations were being followed.
A city spokesman says 2 complaints came in March, one through the website and the other by phone, yet they first learned of a positive case at the plant on April 14th. In Grand Forks, Joshua Peguero, Valley News Live.
A GE spokesman tells us that the safety of their employees remains their #1 priority. They will reopen the plant when they are sure appropriate safety measures are in place. North Dakota health officials are now confirming 34 new cases across the state. Cass County has the highest number of confirmed cases, totaling 630. Grand Forks County is the second highest with 269 cases confirmed. There are now 1,225 positive COVID-19 cases confirmed. 31 people are currently hospitalized, but 540 people have recovered. The state now has 25 deaths attributed to COVID-19. Here's another sign that North Dakota is slowly returning to a sense of normalcy. The governor announcing today that there will be limited services at the state's 15 camps beginning this Saturday. Campgrounds will be opening for no-service camping. Electrical sites will have power, but water may not be available on site. Marinas will be opening. Gas may not be available at this time.
The buildings on the property and the food service concession, those things, you know, whether it's hay for horses, fuel, ice, firewood, those are not going to be open at this point in time. So you need to, the offices and facilities, you've got to get your vehicle pass and your camping registrations must all be done online.
Keep in mind that expanded services will become available at later dates, specifically around the Memorial Day weekend. And for a complete explanation of the state's plans, go to the Valley News Live News app and click on this story. A mass testing for COVID-19 at the Fargo Dome was canceled today. Fargo Cass Public Health saying that there was a shortage of testing supplies at the North Dakota Department of Health's microbiology lab. The state says they have big decisions to make and they are holding off on doing interviews right now, which is frustrating those wanting to be tested.
That was really kind of sad because you got to figure people from other communities might even have took off time from work. They might have just had to leave a household and they didn't need to. They're halfway there, if not already there, and then you find out it's not available.
Governor Doug Burgum said that they've scrambled to find testing supplies over the past few days. Thanks to the North Dakota State University, they have found some, and they now can test 9,600 more people. Meanwhile, in Minnesota, coronavirus cases have now climbed to more than 7,000 people. The total is 7,234. That's an increase of 571 from the day before. The death toll increased by 9 to 428. 4,212 people are listed as recovered in Minnesota. For a full breakdown on the numbers, find this story on our VNL News app. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz expects to release new guidelines tomorrow to allow hospitals in the state to resume elective surgeries, which were put on hold at the end of March by an executive order. Walz also spoke about the importance of businesses in the hospitality industry starting to reopen, but didn't give specific dates for when that would be. Minnesota's stay-at-home order is in effect now until May 18th. After weeks of only seeing customers through takeout or delivery, local bars and restaurants in North Dakota say it was refreshing to be back. And while it was smooth sailing for most, one bar in Horace says, well, they had a few hiccups to work out before next weekend.
The biggest struggle we have right now is it's a bar. You come to have fun, you come to drink and be with your friends, and you have to stay in your seat. You can't get up and mingle. You can't stand at the bar. You cannot walk up to the bar and get a drink.
West Fargo Police and Cass County Sheriff's deputies say that they'll be checking to make sure bars and restaurants are compliant with the guidelines, and say owners could face fines or citations if found in violation. The Smithfield Foods plant in Sioux Falls, South Dakota is set to reopen after being closed for 3 weeks. Over 800 of the plant's 3,000 employees tested positive for COVID-19. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem said that they believe that it will be a day or two before operations will begin again at Smithfield. And Smithfield will be bringing employees back in stages and will not be at full production for at least 5 to 6 days. At times, there were light afternoon showers, other times just sprinkles, but they capped off a cooler start to our week. Hutch is here with a first alert look at our Monday evening weather planner. Hutch?
Thanks so much, Mike. As we look down on Interstate 94 and the I-29 exchange, just in western portions of the FM area, we do have some soggy interstates tonight. Hopefully, these rain showers will go a long way toward greening up that dried up vegetation from the long winter. Some heavy showers swirling along the South Dakota border near Ellendale, and then up between Fargo and Grand Forks, we have some heavier bands showing up in dark greens and yellows. In fact, West Fargo out towards Castleton, and then westward out towards Valley City, we have some moderate to maybe even briefly heavy showers of rain. Grand Forks, right now, East Grand Forks and points west out towards the base, seeing some moderate to heavy showers, as is Central Nelson County this hour. The showers are going to continue all evening long, and for some all night long, with temperatures very slowly changing into the mid-40s by the deep overnight hours. Grand Forks, likewise, will dip down closer to 40 degrees as we go through the overnight, but the rain chances last all night. Mike, here in a minute, I'll talk about how much rain we're expecting out of this system, and we'll have a look towards some drier weather in the remainder of our work week here in just a moment or two.
Fair enough. Thanks. We have an update to that story we told you about last night. Authorities say the motorcyclist who hit a roundabout in West Fargo and had to be taken to the hospital with serious injuries is now facing a DUI charge. It happened at Cheyenne Street and 52nd Avenue South around 7:30. The biker is a 30-year-old man from Fargo. His name hasn't been released. We haven't been able to get information on his exact injuries. A 22-year-old Jamestown woman is in jail tonight, accused of pointing a shotgun in the direction of her boyfriend and firing it. The boyfriend called the cops saying he was not hurt. Kelsey Camoni was facing charges of terrorizing, reckless endangerment, and firing a gun in city limits. Moorhead Public Service wants to alert customers to a water heater scam that's hitting the community. Some customers have received suspicious letters. They're asking to provide information on their water heater by a certain time or face possible fines or penalties. MPS says that they do not ask or need this type of information and would not use threatening tactics to obtain this information. Any call or letter demanding personal or equipment information or possibly facing a fine is not a call or letter from MPS. Don't provide any financial or personal information. Instead, call their office at 218-477-8000 if you believe that you've been scammed. Fargo Public Schools has announced virtual ceremonies for graduating seniors. On May 21st, the district will honor graduates from the Adult Learning Center. Woodrow Wilson High School graduates will have their virtual ceremony on May 29th. Davies, North, and South will all be honored on May 31st. The school district says more information about the virtual celebrations will be sent to families by each school administrator. If social distancing guidelines allow it, Fargo Public Schools is tentatively planning to host an in-person graduation ceremony later in July. Let's hope so. We want to put in another plug for our virtual food drive to help out the Great Plains Food Bank. What started as a quest to raise $10,000 in donations has now been up to $30,000. For those of you that have already donated, we want to thank you so much. We're still collecting until May 22nd. And if you'd like to join in on this monetary mission, check out valleynewslive.com or the VNL News app and look for this particular button. Later on Valley News Live at 6, you might not be able to avoid the high cost of higher education, but you might be able to make sure the money you're spending is well spent.
Moderate to heavy showers of rain moving into the eastern Dakotas right now. It's going to stick around through the overnight hours. Rainfall amounts out to the west throughout the day, topping 2 inches, according to estimates by Doppler radar. Your hour-by-hour forecast is next.